I'll tell you, we have about, I think it's been about 2 months now, and we have over 700 shops. So we are the biggest arcade in less than, in about 2 months, we are the biggest arcade.
In Uganda?
Yeah.
700 shops?
Yeah, and they subscribe monthly, yeah.
Wow.
So in the future, we'll have 10,000 shops, 1 million shops. It will be the biggest arcade of the world, I guess, yeah.
And
that's very impressive. So the way I came to know about Tubayo is the Tubayo Market Day. Could you kindly tell us what is the Market Day and what does that entail?
Oh, yeah. So as we were building Tubayo, we started with the travel marketplace, and that is the furnished homes and the experiences. And the idea was to make it easy for anyone who wanted to travel around the country to easily discover what to do online by simply searching Ginger, and you have a list of experiences to do. So as we did that, we wanted to be of value to society. And there was this team meeting where we defined our stakeholders. And these were mainly the customers, the people that were paying money for the experiences. Then we had the hosts. These are the people who list the activities to do. And we have the team that really coordinates all of that, the team that works at Tubayo. And then the fourth stakeholders are the shareholders, myself inclusive, the founders of the company. And then the fifth, which was one of the most important, is the community. So for all these 5 stakeholders, we were to measure what kind of impact are we building in each of them. And for community, it had been ignored for a while, and that's how we came up with the Market Day initiative. It started as an online initiative. We would simply use our page that had grown several users, I think about 20,000 total users by then, and would give chance to small businesses to get online and talk about their businesses, their products, their vision. And that was during COVID. It became so popular that after COVID, the question still was, what more can we do about this? And that's how we started the physical market days. Now, the physical market day happens once a month, every first Saturday of the month at Motive. And here we bring now businesses to get in one space, sell their products, meet our community, the customers, and build those referrals and relationships. That's how it all started.
how did you get this idea? I mean, give me a little bit of your background that causes you to think thinking that way.
Back at uni, to give you my education background, I went to Ntare School for O-level. Of course, I did primary. And then I did King's College Budo for A-level and joined Makerere University for development economics. But while at uni, I started helping out my dad. And my dad had a small office, big office, at Nassau Road. And I remember failing to find exactly what, to help out with. He was basically in the tender business, really just pre-qualifying for deals in offices. If there's a supply of posho, he qualifies to supply it cheaper. If there is uniforms, if there is printing. So it was hard for me to really find a niche to be efficient and deliver on. So the easiest was printing and branding. And that's what I did. And quickly I started earning small monies. I was able to buy a smartphone and join the internet before most of my colleagues that I was studying with, since for them they were really focusing full-time on school. Now, while with the smartphone, I joined the social media pages and I started growing these pages quickly. One of the pages is IG Uganda. And soon we reached 5,000 followers, then 10,000 followers. And it's like I was in my own world because the people I was studying with didn't really relate to these things. But for me, I was comparing it to the influencers I've seen abroad, like Cristiano Ronaldo, who can be paid a lot for just posting you on their page. Because in my mind, it just made sense. You have 10,000 people that are following you. Even if you decided to sell to each one of them something of like 10,000 shillings, that would probably be about, what, $1 billion? So that's the excitement of the social media. But soon I noticed that people are not paying as much for influencers, so I was focusing on the branding. Now, after school, my fellow students that I was studying with got into the big jobs in the audit firms, the top 4 firms. Most of them joined government. and I was left at this. I was still at the street in the hustle. Then soon I started to reflect. I knew that, Brian, I deserve to do better than this. And my main challenge was really just a money question. I was earning 100K, 200K. That seemed a lot for campus, so I didn't complain. But after campus, that money was nothing, because the friends of mine who had joined the big firms started buying cars. They were getting financing for houses. Now I started questioning, I really need to do something about this money thing. And I started to look for a benchmark. Who is this person I can learn from that has done branding better and earns, that has earned a lot of money from it? And there were a few guys at NASA Road that had done really interesting work. I remember one guy that stood out had like a whole floor at NASA Road. I think I can mention the name. That's inline printers. Then there was graphic systems as well. But this was owned by the Indians and had been around for 20 years. But I needed something more inspiring, something bigger. I needed something like one who has even done that and built a whole arcade out of it. And there were not many, really. I think the closest to that was New Vision. But I found out that New Vision was a public-private, company, partly owned by government and another part private shareholders. Like my company, I'm really a private company, so I need to benchmark off one who is using the same structure as me. So New Vision was not a right benchmark. Then a thought crossed my mind, how about you look globally to see which guys have done it well, maybe you be the first one to do it locally. And the global company I discovered was worth about $200 million. Very exciting for me. At least that was in line with the picture I was looking at. But when I looked at how many years they had been around, it was around 200 years. That didn't excite me, because I want to see these things in my time. I don't want to wait 200 years for me to see that kind of
which you don't have
impact. And I don't have 200 years.
Yes, you don't. Yes.
And so I started to lose interest in the branding work. And I remember one day, I think I was just messing with the internet, and I searched who are the richest 5 people in the world. And these 5 people were mainly about internet and technology. That is the common thing I saw among the 5 people. And my thinking was really simple. I'm like, if I do what the 5 people are doing, I'm going to be the 6th person. So that's how
not the 10th.
No. I was just only talking of 5.
Good.
And so those 5, I picked interest. I got excited about the internet and technology, and that's how I then decided on what industry was I going to do. Luckily, my economics background now started to play in, because there's one thing we started. I think the 5 forces of competition by Porter. One of them is the industry. So the industry you're in will determine how profitable you are. So being in the technology and internet was one. Now I needed to know which industry was I going to be in that is, profitable. And
by the way, you can hear that this guy did not study to pass exams. He knows what he studied, and he can revisit and apply. Yeah. Keep going.
So first, I've decided on the internet. I've decided on technology. Now, what product or industry am I going to operate in? And then I also researched what are the fastest growing industries. And travel was the fastest, way ahead of manufacturing and the others. And for me, it made sense, because I'm like, people have not traveled to Africa. And I remember drawing an analogy, a simple one, of how was Africa, colonized. Some white people came to Africa, discovered the opportunity here, wrote back to their kingdoms, they sent more manpower, and they took over the opportunity of raw materials, and so much. And then I thought, if the same opportunity is given to the Ugandans and Africans, by traveling outside there to see what opportunities out there, then many can go and learn skills, be inspired, and then they'll come back and develop the country.
Now, I think you are rich in information and research.
Yeah.
But I like one thing. Parents and kids that are at home, the direction begins with him working with his father. Father introduces him into the direction that he grows from where his father was to where he is. And most of you parents that are working and excluding your children, and you say paid fees, figure it out yourself, you can see the difference. Divine.
Well, my question is in line with in the work that you've been doing.
Sure.
So the first of the couple questions I have is, how long has Tubayo been an active business?
So we made 6 years in April on 4th. Yes.
So in these 6 years, obviously there's a lot of us that have creative ideas. So like our host here said, working with our parents, you start to see things differently. You start to think of different ideas and ways you can expand or ways you can leave, you know, a legacy. Because I believe at the end of the day, as much as we're working to succeed now, we're also working for those that come after us.
Sure.
That is the legacy you leave behind, your children,
Sure.
your family.
Sure.
So in starting, what were the main challenges that you faced that could have stopped you, but you didn't allow them to?
That's a very good question. One of the main challenges was putting the team together. I have an economics background and I'm excited about tech. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I had to go and study software engineering or, you know. So putting a team together to execute this was one of the challenges. But I appreciated it so much. I remember, in fact, to just give you one example, I remember I had worked at Taxify just before getting into Tubayo. And the Taxify came between my branding work while I was frustrated, but I had grown a page to 10,000 followers and more. I went there as an influencer to get them a market because they had just launched. And then those people tell me, no, we don't need an influencer. We just need you to help us get the borders. And that was so obvious to me. Kampala is full of borders. And I remember the mistake they made was telling me how much they would pay per border. And they told me 30,000 shillings. Every border I sign up on the app. And every border I was seeing in town was 30,000. I remember the first day I stopped over 200 borders. And my goal was to make 1,000 borders, which is 30 million Uganda shillings. And so if you were keen enough during that time, you saw Kampala turn green with these new borders that were competing against Safe Border. I was really that guy behind it. Oh. And so during that transition, I had saved up to about 30 million. The obvious thinking was, get a space, rent a house, and then hire these software developers. I did that, and within 6 months, all the money had run out. We had no product. Our rent was done, and the landlord wanted money. Our product wasn't making any money. And then, so that failed, and then I had to go back to my dad's office to keep doing branding as I fund this. So that really putting the right team to deliver results was one of the biggest challenges. In fact, I think God really does help you. But as you do that and face the challenges, you get wiser to the other new hires you make. You try to avoid the mistakes you made.
The key word I've picked out from what you said is admiring the challenge. Is there a particular character trait you believe that has helped you not just see a challenge as an obstacle, but as a mountain that you can overcome? Or would you credit that to perhaps your belief in God, or you know?
So I think for sure, 100%. God, my belief in God really, and also that there are a few principles I went by. One was to always show results. You know, I always wanted to see what's the next thing. Quickly, as the team was trying to build me, I was building my social media page because I knew how to do that. I built the Tubayo page way before the product came to the market. That started getting traction. And I remember even before the product worked, the other thing I started to show was, we need this company. I started to register. I got a bank account. I started to show those signs of what a company is. And we started generating money because there was pressure now. Before even the product was ready. I remember just designing a poster, looking for one destination. That was Lemara. It's a nice, beautiful lodge in Jinja. I asked if they could do a day trip, and they accepted. I put up a trip to Lemara Wild Waters, and then I started marketing that. So we even started making money before The product was ready, and we kept funding the operations with that. But this time we were lean because we were working out of small margins, not the 30 million savings that were out there. Yeah.
For the young people that are watching us right now, and they are calling themselves the unemployed youth,
Yeah.
they have smartphones, they've gone to school, and how do you guide these young ones to have those creative ideas even beyond the borders of Uganda? Because I see you connecting, going and making research, looking at the top 5 richest guys and what they do. You see research, you see direction, and we have a lot of people. They're all over the internet, dancing, laughing, trying to do funny stuff. How do you guide people? What is out there for the young people that may not get a job? Like, I don't see you. Yes, your father helped to guide you, but definitely you have done a lot of your own creative ideas to put you where you are. Guide these young people.
That's a very interesting question. What I can say is this: have strong belief in who you are, in who God has created you to be. And I think once you get to appreciate that, then you get to know that you matter as well. And so you need to be really serious about that. The other thing is, I'm a believer that you can be nowhere but be disciplined, focused, and build something. I think that is the one thing you're going to find in so many of these very inspiring stories out there. You know, people like Steve Jobs. These are people who almost had no degree actually, but he got himself together and built one of the most valuable companies. Even in Uganda, there's so many inspiring stories of youth who were lost in the ghettos, who were just out there, no jobs, but they believed in themselves, got disciplined, and delivered results on the opportunities they created. But about the global opportunity, you have to think global right now. That's why today an American song will appear on your phone. You're in Uganda and they'll make money off it. You can make money off your work being out there. We have the tools in our hands. The platforms, the social media platforms can reach millions of people. They are not defined by the national borders. So that is an opportunity you can take over. And I think we have such a great opportunity that our parents didn't have. The internet, the mobile phones, you can build a big business off just a small mobile phone. I think you just have to want to matter in this world and contribute something. The answers will come to you as you pursue that opportunity.
Maybe could he show us some of...
Yeah, I think for a lot of our viewers, you've mentioned the homes, you've mentioned the global networks that you're building, the market days. So for example, now like the homes, there is obviously when you mention housing, wanting to see an experience, the first thing that will come to me is the American, I don't even think it's an American company, but the international corporation Airbnb, which I've also personally used. But now whenever I'm in Uganda, I don't feel like I can trust them because what do they know about Uganda? So now it's comforting to know we have a Ugandan investor over here who believes in, buy Uganda, build Uganda. So could we see a clip of one of these homes, the Tubayo homes actually?
Sure.
If we can get that clip in the control room, showcasing one of these Tubayo homes.
Yeah, and what I can say about the homes, I think as a country, the government's efforts are to increase tourism activity, get so many tourists. Yeah, that's one of the homes that you can book on the Tubayo app, which you get off Android or the iOS, the App Store. So you can get to stay in that home and feel like you're in the comfort of your own home. You have control over the whole space, the kitchen, fully equipped for you. In fact, to many, this is a better alternative than the hotels. And then, but the mission behind this is to avail as much accommodation space to accommodate the number of tourists that would love to host in our country. Before, we'd have limits to this. And I remember there was a challenge during CHOGM, you know, and the government had to keep giving investors to develop hotels. But I'll tell you the opportunity that we have as youth. For a hotel developer, it could take them about 4 years, you know, to finish a hotel complex with about 200 rooms. With us, it takes us 30 minutes to avail the same number of rooms. So you can't compete with the internet and technology. Yeah.
And when I look at this type of building, I have guests here right now.
Who would very much benefit
They
from
booked something.
on Airbnb.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
we reached there.
it's
The
the
place
opposite.
was smelling.
It wasn't to the standard of what was shown on the app.
No, it was smelling bad poop. You could enter in and smell it. The compound, they said, I mean, is, and they said there is a church showing security,
Yeah.
and it was papyrus,
Oh,
church
wow.
tin with noise. I mean, and these guys are already here.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at that, is that a real house here in Uganda?
So no, that right there, those are the impressions. So in
that's
terms
what I just-
of
okay.
competition now, we are relying on people's homes to avail accommodation. But for the company to earn more and for us to control the market and quality, we want to influence that by building our own home. So that's one of the homes that are coming up. That's a 30 home apartment block. Yeah, and we want to do 100 of those blocks within 5 years. Our idea is to work with people to develop these homes.
So and by doing
Yeah.
that, you're creating opportunities for people that
They are high earning assets, for sure, and
So
I
for
want
example-
Ugandans to co-own in that.
So, example, we could have a house that, for example, if the entire family spends most of its time out of the country, now that's a business opportunity for somebody to, you earn because you have a home to show
Yeah.
tourists that want to come to the country, bring in
Yeah.
more money.
Yeah.
And the family that is not able to stay in the house can benefit from the investment to that infrastructure.
Yeah, 100%.
So, in regards to now looking at a global market, because Tubayo right now, I would say is a global brand. Do you have a success mark that you could benchmark for us where you said, okay, now we are reaching more and more people?
Or this is where we are as Tubayo.
Yeah, so right now we have over 100,000 users, 30,000 mobile app users as well. We are in 10 African countries, 9 African countries, including the US, where we launched to manage the global ambition. Because when you think about the US, this is a $30 trillion economy. We launched in New York, since that's where almost every ambitious tech platform has launched.
Times Square, right?
Yeah, so
Can we have a look at the...
The Times Square video.
Yeah, so Times Square is almost where all big brands really get to launch to make a statement that they're here to serve the world, and we've been there as well.
What does
can
it
we-
take to get to have your app shown on Times Square?
Can control room
Kindly show us the Times Square video.
show us the Times Square video? We don't just want to talk about it.
Yeah, so that's Times Square in New York.
Is there sound there?
That is, and the message.
It's all good. More ways to connect. Switch to Android.
No, it's over.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you know, Times Square is quite expensive to brand there, but there were a couple of activations in New York. We got an opportunity to also speak at the UN Congress. That
You
happened.
did?
Yeah. And I remember seated with the king from Angola, and there was a minister from Nigeria and another minister. And the whole verse of your gift will make room for you really then just made sense to me. Because I want to share that picture as well, but it's all over my socials. And we're hosted by the Mayor of New York, so that's how we got the chance to also showcase.
So this all starts from one idea that you don't allow to rot within the confines of your head.
Yes.
That's powerful.
So, what are some of the achievements, awards, or recognitions that you guys have received as Tubayo or Tubayo, whichever the, the pronunciation is?
Yeah. In 6 years now, we were Startup of the Year in 2021 by the Startup Uganda community. 2022 was Startup of the Year as well. 2023, last year, we are Technology Influencers of the Country. So almost everyone is benchmarking of the work we're doing. We've had big brands that we once looked up to, like the MTNs, all come and benchmark of the work we're doing. And that's why we voted Technology Influencers of the Year by Pulse Uganda. Several other awards were also, I think one that I'm so proud of, that was very humbling, was we voted Tourism Transformers of the Year by the Ministry of Tourism. That is 2022. And this award came ahead of Sudil and Eddie Kenzo. You know, we're #1 because of the way we provide accommodation space and the number of youth we impact in the experience and travel space. Today I'll tell you we create over 1,000 jobs every month, and these are real jobs where they're earning money. We support over 200 businesses every single month. And the ease at which we do that with the technology is almost unreal. But yeah. And we've also partnered with the UN. That's the UNDP. We're one of the best implementers for their youth projects. We've done quite...
in regards to youth projects, since obviously you started this quite young, coming straight out of university, we have the self-proclaimed unemployed youth, but you're out here telling us you create over 1,000 jobs. So for a young entrepreneur looking up to Mr. Brian Namanya, growing up in Uganda, because your education background is very Ugandan based, so I feel a lot of people listen more to what you have to say because you've been here. What support systems do you think would be beneficial for young entrepreneurs who also want to become like you? Or what systems can be put in place to make it easier for one to enter entrepreneurship?
This might sound so obvious. I will say church is one of the biggest support systems.
Amen.
And as a youth, you want to get into church. You will see that most of these are in the Bible. Most of these instructions and teachings are in the Bible. One of the teachings that I pass on to the team a lot is the parable of talents. Where the master gives talents to people, deserving talents, and when he returns, he asks what you've done about it. And for those who had something to show, more was given. That is the one principle I actually wrote with while building Tubayo. I just need to show more every month. And I knew God was blessed me with this opportunity, could keep giving me more. So on top of the support system, depending on what industries you're in, try to look out for organizations that lead particular industries. For technology and the internet, those who are fascinated by what the internet is, look out for innovation hubs. Look out for such associations to learn from, to be like-minded with the rest. You'll see a lot of ideas as share with one another. Those are the different support systems. But get a mentor as well, and read every day while you put in the work to show result. Yeah.
Wow. And we have this statement that is always made by most Ugandans. Government to Yambe, and statements like he has a hand in government. So Tubayo, tell us.
When
have you from these two slogans?
That's very interesting. And you'll notice these are clever slogans to just find an excuse not to do something or not to work.
That is very true.
When I go back to that parable that I've shared, the talents parable, you'll see that one was given a talent, and when the master returned, they had hidden the talent, and so when the master returned, they had all the excuses of maybe you're a tough person, I didn't want to lose it. So those are the things really. But when you look around you and be realistic, you'll find that you are young, you're very energetic, there's a big market in need of something, that you can start a product and sell to them. And so there should be no reason why you are not in production or producing something. So the statements of government at Tuyambe, you can take the initiative. Be the leader, be the person that provides that opportunity for others. And then God will bless you and multiply that idea.
Government at Tuyambe. The number of times I've heard that statement. So in regards to, obviously, I can tell just by hearing you speak, your mentality is a lead, and generally challenges hope to shape a man to the way he thinks.
Sure.
But with the recent census, knowing that majority of our nation is very young, majority of our nation is very, as the term that we call this generation is Gen Z, so they're very much on the phone, okay, what am I doing, what am I posting, what has this one said? How, even in this time, are you able to continue implementing these marketing strategies, the market days, making work fun, basically? Because at the end of the day, if someone's not interested enough to want to do something, in this generation, they simply won't do it.
Yeah.
I've seen people refuse to eat food because they just didn't have the energy to cook.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'd rather starve than eat.
Yeah.
No, those are very interesting trends. But what I can say is, as a business leader, you have to lean towards the future. There is a trend of just relying on the mobile phones. So as a business, I get to deliver our service on the mobile phone. The trend of AI is here. So these are opportunities that the young people are excited about, but do not know how to quite apply and make sense and make money. But I can tell you, just lean towards the future. The future always wins. I could give you just a simple perspective. Back in the day, for you to start a business, you needed a physical space. You needed to go and find a shop in an arcade and start selling. In the late 14, 15, if you mention that without an internet or online strategy, you didn't seem forward thinking or futuristic. But today, if you mention a business without AI, without numbers, you're not that forward thinking. So I was in California about, that was late last year, 6-7 months ago, and everything is AI. Everything is super efficient, super convenient because of AI. And as young people who are out there on the phones, you might be wanting to look for belonging and all, but these are opportunities that you can start to be very intentional on in exploiting them. See how you can grab AI and apply it in your dad's business, in your relative's business. Instead of just being on the phone and not being productive, these are tools you can use. And there's a famous Steve Jobs saying that I like, where he says, when you give humans tools, it amplifies everything. For example, a man, when you compare with a dog in running, a dog will run faster than you. But if you're in a motorcycle, you'll be faster. Same thing. So if you're a business that is not using technology, you won't be as efficient. When someone uses a tool, they will be super efficient. So one of the latest tools is AI. As a business, you need it. You need to write a script quickly in less than 30 seconds. You don't need to scratch your head for 2 hours to come up with a script.
You just
when
put
there's
the prompts.
Yeah, and I see so many people going against it, of creativity. Let the creativity now be in how unique you use the AI. But you can't do away with it. True. It has come to make things faster, efficient, and more convenient.
In regards to making use of AI, we had a conversation at the market day where I was basically explaining that there's a huge fear in the art industry, where in the movie production, because now you don't even need an actor to be on set. You can just AI generate once you have their facial scan. So that's why there was this whole big strike in America where actors refused to pull up to set. So now that also got me thinking, because I tend to fall more in the creative arts. So it's now, okay, how do I make sure I am not redundant in like a couple months? So just like you said, AI, you have the idea in your head. The beauty of these machineries is that they cannot come up with ideas unless the input is given to them.
Yes.
So the idea still originates from you.
Yes.
It's just how you use this. Like, if I give a gun to a policeman, he will use it to protect and serve the country.
Sure.
But if I give a gun to a baby, that baby could shoot its own father and not know. Yeah. Because in the wrong hands...
Give it to a thief.
You give it to a thief. Exactly. You give it to a thief. Eh? Here in Uganda, you see him on the news.
Yeah.
So now, my question here is, what is the future of Tubayo? Because obviously you've told us you're thinking of becoming the 6th richest man in the world after seeing your top 5.
Yeah.
And we know some of these rich people have big there was the whole excursion to the bottom of the ocean. That's something some of the rich people are doing. They want to see what's there.
Yeah.
The trip to Mars.
Yeah.
Are you looking into...
Oh yeah. I remember when we set the trip to Mars, that was early days after we had launched the travel. First, I remember the first trip to Lemara, we did a small van of about 10 people. And quickly the word got out there. We started doing more 2 vans. Soon we're doing the coasters. We filled those up. Then we did the buses. And I remember asking the team of what more can we do that's exciting. And then the opportunity was Uganda Airlines had just launched, you know, but everyone on the internet was fighting Uganda Airlines. Oh no, over in Uganda Airlines the tire will be falling off. They will be shouting.
But
for us, but we saw the opportunity there, and one of the campaigns we launched was Fill Up Uganda Airlines, and so we designed a trip to Mombasa. We could not fill it up because we were supposed to charter and we didn't have the money to charter, but we had the biggest number of clients were from Tubayo. I think almost half the plane, about 30 people. And when we did that successfully and returned, the next was, if we've done all these and filled up the Uganda Airlines, the next we need to fill up is the rockets, because this was now the word that was coming up. And that's how we set a mission to do trips to Mars by 2030. So that's also in the future. But why this is very interesting.
As you explained, I think we could kindly get the graphic for that, the future of Tubayo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As you go on.
For sure. So why this is very interesting, and people ask, how are you going to do the trip to Mars?
I'm also asking, how are you going to do this?
It's a 3-step strategy. So one is the talent and software. In California, I was interacting with so many space companies. So it could just be an exchange program. How do I get Ugandans to work there? And that way we contribute to the space exploration programs. Then once we do that, we have our own company that's probably just sending talent. The next will be build a launch. Well, this is very obvious to me because for so long, Uganda and Africa have built launch pads. These are the airports you see. We've never manufactured an aeroplane. It's built in America, comes, lands here, goes to Dubai. True. Same thing. We want to build launch pads all over Africa. Build them in America, build them in China. They'll come and land here and go to Mars. But we will not stop there, because that's what the previous generations have watched. We're not going to stop at watching. We'll even go ahead and then build the hardware.
Mars,
yeah, so you've seen that we'll start from the talent, the launch pads, and these are things that can even be executed in the next 5 years.
Ideas, not just with legs, but with jet fuel. Eh?
I remember I was on a simulated air shuttle. The way these guys think, create a video in front of you and create the fear.
They recreate
it. Yeah. And it's like you're on a real shuttle going to the moon.
Fighting the G-force.
And you see, this enters your mind. And that's the biggest problem. We are using our phones and internet for all other reasons that are not productive.
Yeah.
So the research, the vision is totally beyond Uganda.
But I think now that you've mentioned Mars, a lot of people again think, this guy is too serious. So an unserious question we could ask to let people know that Mr. Brand is also a human being like us. Because once you start to mention
And Uganda, by the way.
Yes, Kale Sobo. So do you use apps like the rest of us? Do you use the TikToks, the Instagram Reels?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
And
but I'm very intentional on how I use. Mostly we use them to promote our products. Yes.
So how can the rest of us use the same app that you're using to think of going to Mars in a way that can benefit the businesses or the companies we work for?
Yeah. So instead of just being the consumer of just about anything, be very intentional. Be the one that feeds the internet with the great content about your business. And if you have specific purpose lines, maybe you're into leadership, you're into the youth, probably find these pages that are talking about that you can keep learning from. There is so much. The knowledge and information about Mars didn't just start yesterday. I think for over 50, 100 years, they've been talking about it. You could be the person that just is interested in finding that knowledge. So for whatever interest you have on social media, there's those pages. They could be boring, 5, 10 people, but be the sixth person that follows and listens to that. Yeah.
And how do you spend your time? How much time do you put in study?
Oh my God. Yeah. I thought you were going to say work. I would tell you how it is more of study than work. I'm always studying and learning. I'll tell you there's a couple of characters that I love following lately. One is Jamie Dimon. He's the CEO of JP Morgan. This is the biggest bank in the world.
Yeah.
I just love the character and the confidence in how they execute, in the clarity of his thoughts. And so I want to learn that. So I keep following and listening to every video that he has put out there. There is so many videos. I remember just watching Steve Jobs and learning his thought process behind several designs. People like Jeff Bezos, all those people have inspired me. Even up to here, I would look at local leaders to now pick context locally, the president and so many others really. But I'm always trying to read something and learning something.
So it's that inborn desire to want to develop what you already have inside of you.
Yes, I want to just keep learning.
What time do you wake up? And what time do you go to bed?
Yeah, I go to bed quite late. I go to bed at about, or slightly past midnight, but I wake up 7, I'm up. I love to wake up at 6, but because I
sleep late.
And also depending on depending on what period I'm in, if we are creating, there's almost no time to sleep. I'm just obsessed about that creating time. Then I'm up before 6. And I sleep very late because I want to be on my laptop to create, especially if we are launching for like we have the demo days. Then but this normal. I try to be up by 7 and I'm out of home by 8 to be at work.
I also noticed that, and I'll say this to our viewers, that all the big people and the big companies that you see out there, they are not far away from you, but you don't have anything for them. So whether it's government or big corporations or organizations or communities, if there is something you're going to offer, so even in business, nobody is helping you. Everybody is benefiting from each other. So if you are there and nobody is benefiting from you, and all you do is give a good smile and create a friendship, it really goes beyond that. And you can see the intention, being intentional to fulfilling your purpose. So that thought process for each individual to define yourself and what it is you want to do, what it is you want to be, and then you pay the price. If you were a lady, I wouldn't ask for the age. I mean, that look a young guy. Are you in the 20s, in the 30s?
I'm 31.
31.
Yes. I started this at 25. Yeah.
You see, guys.
25.
You see, you guys, and everybody is expecting everything to come from politics. I always tell people here, the biblical principle of tithing, I say if the economy of Uganda is not working, then tithe. As the Bible says, God will pour, He'll open windows of heaven. So there are other economies. If the economy of Uganda is not working, you have a global. so people should not really limit yourself to the boundaries that people have defined already. So, closing remarks. We've talked about all these things. What is it you want to talk about Tobayo to our viewers as we come to a conclusion?
Sure. Really make Tobayo yours. This is a platform for everyone. Download the app, use it, explore opportunities to earn with the app. Yeah, but what I can say is each one of us, and to so many viewers and the youth, and you know, and everyone who is listening and watching, and each one of us has gifts. Yeah. There's something I learned. You shouldn't be so proud of the gifts you have. You know, if you have a nice voice, you should instead be proud of the decision you make about the voice. Yeah. So if you're a great thinker, be thankful for that gift. You know, if you are an actor, you know, be thankful for that gift. But the thing you need to be proud of is what you do about that particular gift that God has given to us. These are things that God has given to us freely, you know, and your part to play is just the decision you make about either increasing it or creating good that could benefit one another. So yeah, lastly, just be about something. Build your business, pray about it, God will give you the answers, and help community, help your family. Yeah, thank you.
So Divine?
I think I'm just rather challenged. He said he started to buy at 25. I'm just counting how many years I have left. But honestly, it's been very great getting to know you. I had the honor of witnessing the market day live. I think we can even show what this market day looks like for some people before we close, because genuinely it felt like rare to see that many young Ugandans coming together for something that's not a concert, that's not a night out, that's not just to visit a restaurant, but they're here bringing together their products, their businesses, their ideas, and trying to sell them to somebody. So it was very, obviously I'm encouraged because you said you're working for your dad, trying to see how you can find, like, where you enter. So now I'm also, I think I'm in that period where it's like, okay, how can I do something that will last and make a change? Because at the end of the day, it's about innovation. Because the systems are there. It's just how do you use the systems to your advantage? And if the systems don't benefit you, make your own systems. Make systems that will benefit. Like you said, businesses, they want you for what you can give them, and then they will find what they give you. If they can't give you anything, they'll give you money. You know? So I think as a young person, I'm very encouraged because honestly, in this day and age, it's so hard to think in a business perspective. People want to, like, okay, can I give Muindi 10, I give him my 20K, hopefully Ronaldo scores, I get 50K back. Like, that's the business mindset.
No, you have to be better.
Like, you know, in these circles in Uganda, they'll be like, we're going to fly to India. Some people will say, we're going to fly to India. I was like, what do you mean we're flying to India? Oh, no, we're betting today.
Oh, I call it flying to India.
Because most of the betting enterprises in Uganda are owned by the Indians. So whenever they're like, today I'm on a first class flight to Mumbai. Kumbe, there's a Champions League final, someone has betted on this.
I know.
And it's good to see young people making positive change for the nation.
And could we, you said the shop is up there?
Yeah, the Tobayo Market Day. Just a clip.
Yeah, control room, if you guys can show us that clip, and so that we can, if you have it, just play it.
Yeah, but
And
it was very inspirational to see like all these different stalls at the market day. Like I was seeing people selling the traditional outfits, but in a modernized way, things that I would take when I'm going back to school, and then people in America are like, oh, I want to see this, I want to see that. So yeah, this is at Motive Bugolog. As you can see, all these different stores. People are. The beauty of creativity is no one would have thought of this until you thought of this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Sure.
so I think we will have you back, and then we involve the audience. Today we really had, you have too much, and we had to cut you short in certain areas, but it has been an honor having you on Men of Purpose, and you're Brian.
Yes.
Brian, the Brian I can't forget.
Yes, Namanya.
Namanya.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming, and
First time.
welcome on the men's platform.
I think I'll find my suit in the next show.
No, I mean, dress like the youth. I mean, leave this to us. And
Mama, when you see me, feel at ease.
So, guys, this has been Men of Purpose today with Tubayo, and check out their app, download it, and go think creatively. What is it you can also create? And I say, God bless you.
Watch the heat build in our eyes, and I'll keep it.